says, right?
Yeah.
Uh, okay. And action.
Action.
Take a break inside your head to get a hold of yourself. But it's over now. I was missing everything and I forgot I felt. So many days I found, many questions I have I can't answer myself. And I just don't know how to make it right. Instead I live with things I never would tell. Never tell. All the good and bad things quickly pass me by. I don't know what I miss till I open my eyes. And I can see it all. I can feel it all again. Hope I don't lose control. And repeat this all again.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up?
Welcome back to another episode of Both Ends of the Table. It is Monday, December 29th, 2025. And man, it is hard to believe that we are fixing to wrap up at the end of this year, man. This is just crazy how fast this year's gone by.
Dude,
But yeah.
crazy.
But man, you're here, you're live, you're with the Bet Boys. So welcome, everyone. Hope you guys all had a great weekend. Hope you guys all had a awesome Christmas, man. Merry Christmas to
Yeah.
everybody out there, everyone who's
Merry
watching. We
Christmas.
appreciate
Merry
you guys. Luke couldn't be with us here tonight. He's a little under the weather. And because of HIPAA violations, I can't exactly state what's wrong with him.
Oh,
but
dude.
but Luke, we wish you all the best, my brother. We hope you get well soon, and hope you start feeling better, my friend. I know the winter time can certainly kick us all in the ass sometimes, especially with this cedar count. God knows what it's at right now. What they say it was at like 9,000 or something like that on the
Well, I
news.
mean, what kind of
Some
messes it
pollen
too?
levels at like 9,000.
I mean, it's because it's hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. So it's like I saw
Yep.
something where today was supposed to be like 49, and then on Friday it's gonna be like hot, like 89. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild to think that 2 days ago it was like 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And then literally like, or really yesterday,
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah.
I think yesterday was like 90 degrees. And then from the hours of like 9 at night to midnight, it went from 80 to like 40
Yeah.
with 40-mile-an-hour gusts of
Yeah.
wind coming in from the north.
Yeah, dude.
And I mean, the whole town's blowing away. Just and it's you're literally you were in a muscle shirt and shorts last night or yesterday, and today you're covered up in warm-ups and two jackets. One to protect you from the cold, the other to protect you from the wind. Like,
Yeah. That's crazy, dude. To change up like
yeah,
that. Call
yeah,
it change up.
yeah, big time, bro. Texas just has like some of the most oddest weathers, I feel
Yeah,
like.
it's like you can't even like you gotta have all your clothes out at all times.
You got to plan for all four seasons this time of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Shit. Because literally, like tomorrow, you could go tanning.
Yeah, straight up.
You know what I mean? You can go for a tan and a swim, and then the
Yep.
day after, you're busting out heaters and burners and roasting marshmallows on a campfire. Like just
Yep.
yeah, you're all bundled up, and it's crazy, dude.
Wearing socks inside.
But yeah, But anyways, man. So once again, like I said, we appreciate everyone as we close off this year, man. It's this will probably be our last show for the year before we move into the new year. So just before we get into tonight's show, I know for me personally, I just want to kind of thank everyone who's kind of tuned in over these past, what is it, 3 4 months now that we've been doing this. Just all the likes, all the comments, all the shares that people have given us through TikTok, through YouTube, and everything like that. Man, we really appreciate you guys. As of right now, as it stands, I think we have about 78 followers, I think, on YouTube, or subscribers, I should say, on YouTube, with our goal to reach 500. And then with TikTok, as of today, I believe we're at 505 followers. So,
Nice.
and this is all starting from nothing, and this is just what we've
Yeah.
been able to accomplish in the past, 3 4 months with, just basic level stuff, man. I mean, we're nobody special. We don't have any, you know, uh, degrees in school. We're not, some scientists or anything like that. Like we're just a.
But but you do got NFL Pro.
I am a monthly subscriber to NFL Pro. Yes. No, man, but it's just been really grateful for all the love and support that people have given us. So
Yeah,
we appreciate it, and we will keep doing this into the new year and keep moving on. And we hope that you guys remain fans and yeah.
yeah. Thank you,
What about
chat.
you,
Thank you,
Cisco?
chat. No, yeah, I mean that definitely appreciate all the um likes, followers, people interacting within the chat. On TikTok too, the comments, the likes, the shares, that definitely helps us as far as getting our viewership, but also interacting, because like the podcast is named both sides of the table, or both ends of the table. Right. So chat could give us a different perspective on things, and different stuff to talk about on different perspectives. So it's definitely you definitely learn a lot being on here. You definitely study the game more. Um, because you dig into stats and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
it's definitely appreciative of that, and it's definitely fun doing this. So to everybody watching and interacting, we definitely appreciate you guys for sure.
absolutely. Absolutely, man. Well, like I said, it's December 29th, so it's Monday, which means it's time for some overreactions based on week 17 matchups. And there was quite a few different key matchups this past week. So, but we're going to start things off here with the Browns defeating the Steelers 13-6, and now are forcing a winner go home game in week 18 for the Steelers and the Ravens in the AFC North. And so I just wanted to kind of get your personal opinion on, who do you think is who you got winning that AFC North matchup there versus the Steelers and Ravens?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, I have the Ravens taking it. I mean, because the Ravens are favored at 59%.
Hmm.
So I definitely have them taking it. But I mean, also too, if Derrick Henry plays like he played last game, I don't see how the Steelers could stop him.
Yeah, I
So
would have to I would have to agree with you. Yep.
yeah, it's yeah. The if Derrick Henry plays like that, the Steelers can't stop him. And I don't even know, are the Ravens playing at home?
I did not look into that matchup to see who's home and who's away, but what I do know is that, like what you said, right? If Todd Munkin can call up another game similar to what he did this week right here, I mean, that's the winning formula right there. If
Yeah.
that wasn't proof enough right there that the winning formula is to run the ball, then I don't know what is.
With
I
someone
don't
you
I
have
don't
like Derrick Henry,
I
it's
don't know how else to spell it out to him. But leave it to a guy like Todd Munkin to mess it all up for the Ravens, because that seems to be like the recipe this season for all of their losses.
yeah.
If you factor in all the losses, Derrick Henry goes MIA. There's APBs out for him all over the place because you can't find him on the field.
Mhm.
And so now, granted, is rushing Derrick Henry 40 times a game the recipe? Not necessarily. But
Right.
when you only rush them 10 to 15 times a game and the dude's averaging 7 yards a carry, it's kind of retarded not to run him.
Or leave him out the fourth quarter for
Or
previous game.
yeah, or leave him completely out. But on the flip side that on the flip side of that though, the reason why I have the Ravens winning this matchup is because DK Metcalf isn't going to be on the field.
Yep.
He's serving the
2
second
games.
the second
Yeah.
game suspension of his 2 game suspension that he got from that whole interaction with the fan,
Right.
which I don't know. Don't really want to get into it with about that fan because that was a whole
Yeah, it's a
that seems
whole
like that seemed like a setup in itself. But nonetheless, if you paid attention to what they struggled with offensively this past game the
the Brown.
against the Browns, it was their red zone offense. They
Yeah.
struggled. They had no choice but to throw it out to MVS,
Yep.
on these fadeaway routes that Rodgers is notorious for throwing, and he's notorious for getting those completions. But MVS is not DK Metcalf. I don't even think
Right.
they're even similar in height, much
Yeah.
less just in overall build.
Right.
I mean, DK Metcalf is a monster. He's a monster among men
Physique.
out there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he has the
physique
physique.
wise,
Yeah.
I mean, this dude is insane.
Yep.
Um, but not having a guy that has a 40-inch vertical out there, that kind of hurts, especially for a
Yeah, for
quarterback that
sure.
has the ability to dot it, in those back corner end zone throws, where it's kind of like a jump ball for the wide receiver,
Well,
you
and
know.
looking at that last ball, and man, if that was DK Metcalf, that would have been a catch because that's like where Rogers threw it. That's like perfect where Metcalf would have been, and like you could just tell. Yeah.
100%. 100%. Yeah, because he's throwing it. He like throws it 6 inches too high.
Mm-hmm.
6 inches too high. And DK Metcalf, as long as that dude's, I don't know what his wingspan is, but as long as that dude's arms are as high as he jumps and as tall as he is, because I think he's like 6'4", 6'5", something like that. And I mean, this dude is
He
literally
could
a
jump
brick
too.
wall. Like
Yeah.
he's a cement wall of a man. And then can
Mhm.
just jump that high off the ground. I mean, yeah. So that's the other thing. I feel like that's going to be kind of like the Achilles heel for the Steelers this season, is it's going to kind of derail them because of this whole 2 game suspension.
Yeah. Like could definitely see that because they definitely could have used him last game for sure against the Browns.
Yeah,
But I mean, looking at it too, from when I watched that game, it seemed like the Steelers were more worried about Garrett getting a sack record than winning the game, from what it looked like. You
that
know,
too,
they
right? Because Aaron was ripping that ball quick as soon as he felt
yeah,
any sort of rush.
yeah, yep, yeah,
He didn't care
he
where
did
he
not,
threw that some bitch.
yep,
He's
he
like, I'll
didn't
give
want
up
Garrett
an
to get that
interception.
record. Yeah, straight up.
Well,
But I mean,
it's kind of ironic now that you say that. So
so
think about it this way, right? Who did Strahan sack to get the record?
I don't know who was it. I don't
Brett
remember.
Favre.
Oh, true. Yeah, it was. That's right, because that guy. Yeah, yeah,
So how ironic would it be that now Aaron Rodgers is the recipient of the sack record,
yeah.
who gave up the sack record, to Miles Garrett. How ironic would that be that, because there's so much of their careers have followed suit with one another,
Yeah,
up until this season, really, where you play with the Green Bay Packers for your entire career, and Green Bay's ready to move on because they drafted your successor, and but you don't want to leave, but then you kind of have no choice, and then you leave and you go to the Jets. Favre went to the Jets first, then Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets. Favre goes to the Vikings, and
Vikings.
that's where it finally kind of starts to tail off because he goes to the Steelers. But or if you remember in the offseason, there was a huge conversation talking about Aaron Rodgers might sign with the
Mm,
Vikings because
yeah,
they were a playoff ready team, where
right.
all they needed was a quarterback.
And they got rid of Darnold, where Darnold started with the Seahawks.
Yep. And then all they had was JJ McCarthy, which was a rookie quarterback that never taken an NFL start, never taken an NFL snap yet in the regular season. So he's a question mark. They don't know where they're going to go with that particular guy. And so it's like there was a lot of
Mhm.
conversation going around whether or not he was going to get signed by the Vikings.
Vikings.
Ultimately they never even looked his way, but he
Right.
would I think he even came out on Pat McAfee or some other podcast that he may have been on and talked about how he wanted to he would have definitely taken the phone call from Minnesota and would have signed to whatever money they would have given him.
Yeah, that would have been I mean, cause what better guy to go behind, like, for JJ McCarthy, what better guy to go behind than, Aaron Rodgers?
Absolutely. I mean, look at what it's done for Jordan Love.
Right.
You know, it obviously helped out Jordan Love to sit behind uh Rodgers for 3 seasons or 4 seasons, whatever it was. So clearly they have the recipe to develop the quarterback there. Cause I mean, you can you're gonna give some credit to Rodgers and obviously you're gonna give the rest of the credit to the coaching staff there,
Right.
but still it's like who wouldn't want to sit behind Rodgers, especially if you're a young quarterback, being able to like sit in the same room with him to see
Pick his brain, yeah.
yeah, pick his brain to see what he sees pre-snap and how he might change protection, kind of like what Philip Rivers is doing right now in Indianapolis.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
love it.
he said he's Dunsky though, but
Well, and we'll actually talk about that towards the end of the show for but so I don't because I don't want to get off track here. I want to stay with the Steelers and the Ravens game. Because if you think about it, this game right here has a lot of implications here. Okay.
well, I
Obviously
mean,
it's win or go home.
right.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I mean, it's definitely whoever wins goes to the playoffs, but not only that, they get home field. That's because I mean, because for the division, so they get home field
Yeah.
advantage going to the
Yeah.
playoffs. But it's definitely a big game. Like you said, win or go home.
Well, given their records, they're only gonna get one home game and that's it, which is gonna be the wild card round.
Right.
But on the flip side, right? So it's win or go home. But my thing is that who and just in your opinion, who do you think has more pressure? And not just between Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson, but also too between Mike Tomlin and Harbaugh. Because if you think about it, Aaron Rodgers is most likely going to be his last season. He hasn't said he's playing beyond this. Also, he only signed a 1 year deal with the Steelers anyway. So there's no guarantee that he's coming back. Chances are he probably is going to retire. So if does he want to go out on a run like this where he's getting bound, doesn't even make the playoffs for the last 3 years of his career? Does he really want to do that? Then you have Mike Tomlin, who you kind of feel like has been on the hot seat. I know that there's been a lot of conversation on the side talk of whether or not he should have been fired a few years ago because the whole thing about them not winning a playoff game in the last, I don't know, 10 seasons, something like that. At least since what's his name has been around. They've been bounced out of the first round, God knows how many times. Then you have Lamar Jackson, two-time reigning MVP, can never seem to get over the hump, always gets eliminated by, you know,
Bills and
either Josh Allen or I can't remember if they beat the Texans or not, but they always seem to struggle in the playoffs. So it's like, can Lamar Jackson prove himself to be a top tier quarterback, even though he's paid like a top tier quarterback? Because he hasn't seemed to been able to prove it all that well. And then obviously with Harbaugh, with all the shit that's gone on, but with how loaded your teams have been over the past 3 to 4 seasons. You know what I mean? Your teams have been loaded. You've had arguably the best roster in the NFL over the past couple of seasons. You have playmakers like Lamar Jackson, playmakers like Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Justice Hill, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman. Now you have, I mean, hell, you had uh, what's his name? Why can't I think? You have D Hop, but then last year you had gosh, why can't I think of his name? Odell Beckham. You had Odell Beckham on your squad,
yeah, true.
right? So you've had just this plethora of offensive weapons, and you always seem to come up short every single time it comes to the playoffs. And so, not to mention that this season alone, how many fourth quarter leads have you blown? And then over the course of your career as the head coach for the Ravens, how many double digit leads have you blown? Because I think in his careers with the Ravens, he's blown 8 leads, 8 double digit leads, which is the most in the NFL, 9 double digit leads,
Oh,
something like that. So it's like between those four guys, who do you think has the most pressure to win and make the playoffs?
well, so I think the most pressure to win and make the playoffs. So I wrote down here. I think Mike Tomlin has the most pressure.
Okay.
Um, I'm not saying Aaron because, like we said, we don't know if it's his last season, and it's his first season with the Steelers, so obviously still getting acclimated to that team. And I don't think Jackson either this season because he's been hurt for the majority of the season, right? And if they don't make the playoffs, then it's like he was hurt the majority of the season. And I don't think Harbaugh either, because like how we talked about last show, where at least I feel like he gives his coordinators like, "Hey, this is your side of the ball. You take care of it. I'm just head guy here, you know." Um, so it falls more, I guess, on the coordinators, and just like we talked about earlier, Todd Munkin drawing up plays for Derrick Henry last game. If he could still do it this game coming forward, but the reason why I have Mike Tomlin because they always talk about how he's never had a losing record,
Mhm.
right? And in the regular season, and that's true again this year. But he has a losing record in the playoffs. He's 8-11 in the playoffs, right?
Mm.
So I think if they lose this game, he's gone in the offseason, in my opinion. I think if they win, he'll still have that pressure going forward into the playoffs to win a playoff game because, like I said, he has that losing record. Um, so I think he has pressure this game and also going into the playoffs, based on that.
No,
What are your
that
thoughts?
makes sense. No, that makes sense. I mean, I would have to agree with you that a lot of the points that you make are very valid because that's always been, again, that's been the whole talk about his whole career ever since Ben Roethlisberger retired is he's good enough to have a winning record, but not bad enough to where they get a high draft pick. And so year
Right.
after year, you're struggling to find yourself a quarterback. And with that being said, you bring in a guy like Aaron Rodgers because you feel like you're a quarterback away. And here you are sitting again at a 500 season again, just over 500. And so if it's not the quarterback, then who? Right? Because no one in their right mind is going to sit there and say that Aaron Rodgers is a bad quarterback. And I don't
Yeah.
feel like he has any, and I don't feel like he has that much pressure as much as I know that he would want to win. I feel like his legacy's kind of already sealed.
Yeah, it's already, yeah.
And so, it's already written in stone. So no matter what he does, obviously I feel like his legacy can only get helped more. I don't think it would get any
Then
worse.
hurt. Yeah.
Right. So,
I
but
mean,
with
especially
Tomlin, I
after
feel
the
like,
Jets
yeah,
season.
yeah. But with Tomlin, I feel like, yeah, like I feel like if this season, I feel like if you lose and don't even make the playoffs, I think he will
He's
step down,
gone.
or I think they'll mutually part ways. I don't think that they'll fire him. I think that they'll post
Right.
it as them mutually parting
Mutually.
ways, just because the Rooney family
Yeah.
has had a long history of. I mean, dude, think about it. This is the Steelers. This is only the Steelers' third head coach in like 50 years. So
That's
they don't
crazy.
change. They don't change coaches very often. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That it takes them a really long time. And I want to say that the last two coaches retired. That's why they had to switch coaches.
Wow.
So they're not known for letting people go. And so but I think in this case here, I think you would just have too much noise on the outside to ignore the hate from Tomlin
Right.
to not do something about it.
Right.
Um, but then I also feel that way for with Harbaugh and Tomlin together, I feel like if both of them were to get fired today, both of them would have phone calls 10 minutes later
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%.
from half of the league.
For sure.
I really feel like that. Um, Now I'll actually favor Harbaugh more than Tomlin in that particular case. I think that teams would be more reluctant to pick up the phone for Harbaugh than they would Tomlin. I feel like, um, just because I feel like people kind of look at Harbaugh, and I feel like they look at both Harbaughs and they just see winners. You
Yeah.
know, whether it's national champion in college or whether it's a Super Bowl champion with the Ravens. I think that they just see winners. I think that they see like just something different in them. You know what I mean? So, but either one, dude,
Yeah.
either one of them goes,
No, for sure.
M- Miami better fucking give them a call, baby. You know what I'm saying? Miami better be the first one on that motherfucking phone. I'm telling you right now,
That's funny. Dude,
they
I
better
mean,
be
but
on
just
that phone
imagine,
quick.
do you think it'll be better if they swap teams?
If they swap teams, well, there. Did you see the conversation about Lamar getting potentially traded to Miami?
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw a little rumor about that.
So that was written by a guy that works for the Baltimore Sun or something like that. It's a Baltimore newspaper, and it's one of their beat writers. And so he talked about, I guess, some insider information that maybe he got from somebody,
Mm.
and it was talking a lot about Lamar Jackson and how, you know, he shows up late to practices, shows up late to meetings. When he's in those meetings, he's falling asleep or playing video games or something of that nature, and that he's not necessarily focused on whatever the team is focusing on. And so
Wow.
so he talks about how there's like a disconnect in the locker room from Harbaugh to Jackson. And
Yeah.
so they're kind of wondering if that has anything to do with the way that they've been performing, and how it's hurting the results of the season. I mean, look at the position they're in. They walked into this season with the highest odds to make the Super Bowl. And
I
now
had them on the
you're
pick,
in
yeah.
and now you're in week 18 with needing to win this game in order to make the playoffs.
Crazy. I mean, could be why Lamar Jackson's been hurt majority of the season.
Yeah. Who knows, man? I mean,
Yeah, I mean
it's
it's
it's it's wild. But let's switch up some gears here real quick, man. So let's jump over to that Minnesota game, because Minnesota defeats the Lions 23-10 to eliminate the Lions from the playoffs. And so looking at the Lions after going 15-3 last season, they have an 8-8 record this season and are last in the division. Compared to last year, they won the division. So you go from first to last within your division over 1 year span. Now keep this in mind, right? They did lose both of their coordinators, Aaron Glenn to the Jets, Ben Johnson to the Bears. But outside of that, what went wrong for the Lions this season, do you think?
I know they've had some injuries on the defensive side of the ball. How many, I'm not sure, but they've had injuries last season too, but they still made it work.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's because I mean, I did write health issues, but just thinking about it, they did had health issues last season too, but still able to do that 15-3, or what was it, 14-3, whatever. Um, so I mean, yeah, it's more pointing towards their coordinators. I mean, what I put here? Oh yeah, I think the defensive side of the ball needs help because this season the offense, they have had better stats than their opponents' offense. So they've had more touchdowns, they have more first downs, have more yards than their opponents on offense. So
Yeah,
from those numbers, to me, it seems like they need help on the defensive side of the ball, and that's so happens to be where their injuries came from on the defense side of the ball. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell for me, but I mean, they definitely need some help on the defensive side of the ball. That's for sure.
no,
Whether it
for
be
sure. I
players
mean,
or coordinator.
yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, even with the loss of Ben Johnson, right, they're still ranked sixth in offensive yards per game. So
Right.
offensively, you're 100%. They've been there every single game. They've
Right.
been there. But here's my thing about it that I think that's what's going on in Detroit, and albeit it might be a hot take, maybe it might not be a hot take, but I feel like they've kind of reached their ceiling with Jared Goff. That's what I feel like. I feel like uh as good as Jared Goff has been for them and as good as he's even been this season, because if I'm not mistaken, I think he's a top 5 quarterback this season in terms of his stats. But at the end of the day, those stats don't mean anything if they don't result in wins, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what this it's a results driven league, right? You either win or you lose, no matter what.
Right.
And I mean, you look at Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is like second in yards, total yards for the season, and they're not even making it to the playoffs. And now you're fixing to have Jared Goff. I mean, look at Joe Burrow last season. Joe Burrow had the most passing yards, most passing touchdowns last season. He led the league in
Then
passing yards and touchdowns, and they didn't even make the playoffs. So
yeah.
the stats themselves, unfortunately, don't necessarily matter. So as good as the stats look for Jared Goff, it's not making a difference, and that's why I feel like they've kind of reached the ceiling as far as what they can accomplish with Jared Goff. Um, and I mean, check this out. I just pulled up the stat right here. So the league leaders in passing yards on the season right now is Dak Prescott for the top five. Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Drake May, Matthew Stafford, Sam Darnold. So your top two quarterbacks,
Getting into playoffs.
they're not even in the playoffs. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, I
So
mean,
again, I feel like they've reached their ceiling. That's me personally.
see, I mean, I think that too. Like they've done all they can with Jared Goff. He's not the guy to get them over that hump, so to say. Which is why I think you have this as a next question, but which is why I think the Rams won in this trade
Yeah, that was gonna be
because
the
they
next
obviously,
question was, is it safe to say that the Rams won the trade?
yeah. Which I mean, I think they did because I do feel the same way about Jared Goff. They can't. He's not the guy to get him above that hump, and um, albeit too, the Rams already have won a Super Bowl since after that trade. Right now, granted, I know they've had a better team and whatnot, but that's the whole point is to win Super Bowls, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess another question to add on there: do they look into trading Goff, or I don't know if his contract ends after this season, but do you think they look at trading him or
No, I don't think that they'll trade him. I think that they'll keep him. I mean, they don't have a choice actually because he just signed his contract. I think last year. I think they paid him last year. I think they signed him like a 3 or 4 year deal. Probably have to look at the
yeah, I'm looking.
at the documents on that. But for me, I feel like it's still even then with the Rams winning the Super Bowl. I feel like it was an even trade, and I feel like it's kind of like a tie because if you go back to that point, whenever they did make the trade, you have to understand both positions that the teams were in. Right? You have one team that was playoff caliber and Super Bowl ready, and with a quarterback who was still developing. On the flip side of that, you had a team that was struggling to get things going. They couldn't win any games at all, and that was even with Stafford on the team. So they had the quarterback, but they had no weapons to support, and they didn't have the right um, let's just say the coaching personnel that they needed. They didn't have a guy like Dan Campbell. Okay.
Yeah.
And so if you look at the trade of what it did for both teams, right? The Rams get a already developed quarterback who was a veteran in the league, who had proven himself to be a great regular season quarterback, but they had no idea how he would perform in the postseason. But they knew that he would be ready for sure in the regular season. The Lions get 2 first round draft picks and a third round draft pick, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was 2 firsts and a third that they got. And out of those 3 picks that they got for Matthew Stafford, those 3 picks turned into Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams, and Sam Laporta. In 3 seasons, Jahmyr Gibbs posted 48 touchdowns. In 4 seasons, Jameson Williams posted 19 touchdowns. And in 3 seasons, Sam Laporta posted 20 touchdowns. Now, Jameson Williams has kind of like an off season, his rookie season, because I believe he was hurt and suspended for the first season for the majority of it. So he only technically scored 1 touchdown his rookie year. So really in 3 seasons, he has 18 touchdowns, but combined, they're at 87 touchdowns combined just between those 3 guys. And over the last 3 seasons, that's accounted for 46% of the touchdowns scored from the Detroit Lions. So that's literally half their offensive scoring has come from
From
those
those
3
3 picks.
picks from Matthew Stafford.
Yeah,
You don't get to a 15-3 record without those guys
that's true.
at the end of the day. Amon-Ra St. Brown was not going to be enough to hold everything down by himself. So I feel like both teams won in the trade overall. Now, obviously, the Rams get a little bit higher up because they did win the Super Bowl. But the Jared Goff trade going to Detroit, that was to kind of reset the whole culture of the organization. They had been losing for
Yeah.
30 plus years. And the last time anything was great besides Megatron was Barry Sanders. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they both teams needed to make this trade, and it worked out in both their favors, I feel like.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's definitely true. But I mean, another reason why I would have the Rams over the Lions as far as a trade, not only because they've already won a Super Bowl, but this year too. You know, the Rams in the playoffs, the Lions aren't in the playoffs with those players that you mentioned too. So,
Yeah.
it's got to give the edge to the Rams, in my opinion, based on off that trade.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely agree with that, and I got nothing to argue against it too. Because, like I said, for me, I feel like it's more even
Yeah,
than
it's
far apart. I'd give a little bit more edge to
for
the
sure.
Rams because, like you said, they're in the playoffs this season. Lions aren't, and then, like I said earlier, they won the Super Bowl. The Lions haven't yet. But just in overall, in terms of the situation, I feel like it's a tie because both teams were in
Right.
in a unique situation where they could both benefit from this trade. So there was no
Right. Which I
losers
mean,
either which way you look at it.
yeah. Which I mean, to go back to your point and to kind of let chat know, but before we started, I was like, that's a hard question that you asked there. Who won the trade? So
Yeah,
it's a pretty hard question.
it is a very difficult question to answer, man. And but it's just because that was easy. Like I said, how often do you see a team where both teams or how often do you see a trade where both teams win
Yeah.
as a result of the trade?
Right.
You know?
Well, I mean, we could see coming up with the Jets having their, was it 5 first round picks?
Yeah. 5 first
So
round picks over
we'll
the
see.
next 2 seasons. That's gonna be
We'll
nuts,
see.
man. And then the Colts just nosedive. My God. Again, we'll talk.
I
Maybe we'll talk later about that.
Okay. I was gonna say I saw something pretty funny, but
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that later then as we get closer towards the end. But so let's switch it up here again because another key matchup: Miami defeating Tampa Bay 20-17. All right. This was kind of like a two-parter because Quinn Ewers gets his first touchdown, second career start, first touchdown, and first win of his career. Miami, at best, they can finish the season at an 8-9 record if they win out next week. But as they turn towards the offseason, what kind of moves should we kind of expect for them to make?
So I haven't really watched Miami a lot, but I was looking at their stats, which I mean, I think we probably know why, but just like how I said, like the Lions' offense was good throughout the season versus their opponents. It's a different story for the Miami offense. They're worse than their opponents based on stats. But obviously, we know there was Tua and got Tyreek Hill getting hurt and whatnot. So I had to hear question marks since I don't really watch them a lot. Do you think they need a new O line, or
Well,
what moves do you think?
I don't know that they need I don't think that they need an offensive line because I mean, for sure they don't need a center. Aaron Brewer, Anthony Brewer, whatever his name is, I mean, he's revered as the most athletic center in football right now. A guy that can literally hike the football, crash over to the right-hand side of the football field, and act as a lead blocker for arguably the fastest running back in the NFL. So
Yeah,
when you got a center who is probably 300 plus pounds that can move as fast as what he can, you don't get rid of a guy like that. So I don't
right,
necessarily know that it's going to be I don't necessarily know that it's going to be what do you call it that he needs a new O-line, but obviously they're going to need to make a change at quarterback. They're definitely going to need to address the Tyreek Hill situation and
for
whether or
sure.
not they trade him. I think that that's going to be a conversation that they're going to have in the offseason with uh with Tyreek Hill is they're going to figure out whether or not he wants to be on the team cuz Tyreek Hill's in his 30s now. So he's on the wrong side of his 30s or on the
Yeah,
wrong side of his career really. So it's like what does he want to do as the season wanes on? Does he want to continue on with what could potentially be another rebuild in Miami? And does he want to kind of see that through? Or does he want to go to a playoff contending team?
right.
You know what I'm saying? And
I mean,
real
for
quick, before we get into that, hey Lucas, what's up, man? I see you, brother. Appreciate you coming on, man. Appreciate you watching. Hope you had a Merry Christmas, dude.
Coach Steven,
Yes, sir.
Coach
Yeah,
Steven.
yeah. We'll talk about that later. but anyway, so yeah, so I think they need to address the Tyreek Hill situation because I think that you'll benefit from a trade from that.
Especially and if they're gonna look at rebuilding.
Yeah, I mean because Quinn's looking pretty good so far through two starts. I think he's shown everybody there in the locker room that he can fling that football. And he's got good vision, I think. You look at the interceptions that he had last week, and I know one of them for sure wasn't his fault. The other one is kind of like, eh. But at the end of the day, he's a rookie quarterback, so you can easily blame it on that. He still needs more time to develop. But just from a promising perspective, I mean, he looks more promising off the rip in 2 games than Tua has in 3 seasons, 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And so
Besides
I think
that one-off season when they went off.
exactly. I think that they may have found somebody in Quinn for sure. And I think if they can get the right guy in there to develop Quinn, I think that you might see, some good things happen out of that. And so again, that leads you back to whether or not what is Tyreek Hill going to do? Right? Does he want to stay there and work with Quinn and see through his struggles, or does he want to go to a playoff contention team? And if so, then trade him,
Yeah.
get some
Yeah.
draft picks, and put some more weapons. Or you can draft a definitely a left tackle for sure. But yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, being in Tyreek Hill's shoes, I mean, because it definitely seems like he already wanted to leave, and like you said, he's already on the opposite side of his career. So I think it'd be better for him to go to a contending team already. I mean, looking at it, it's a win-win situation. Tyreek Hill goes to a contending team, and then Miami gets picks or whatnot.
Hmm.
So I think it's a win-win. Especially going to rebuilding and but I mean, I think they should still stick with Ewers though. See what he has going into the next season. Um, you might even get some picks for Tua if it's already the end of his contract, or if it's not already the end of his contract. Sorry.
No, it's definitely not the end of his contract. I think he's only in year one. And so if it's really a matter, I don't even think the question becomes, I don't even know that he's a tradable quarterback, to be honest with you. I think they're just going to have to cut him. I think they'll have no choice but to release him. Which means that they're
Mm.
going to get like a $96 million dead cap hit,
It
but they could reduce it if they release him after, I think, like March 1st. So if they release him before March 1st, it's like a $96 million dead cap hit or something like that. If they release him after March 1st, and I could have the dates wrong too, and I definitely know I have the money wrong, but I know it's really high up there where he's going to have like this
Yeah.
massive. I mean, it'll be the biggest dead cap hit in NFL history
Oh
if they if
man.
they end up if they end up cutting ties with Tua. And at that point, who even picks him up? And for sure, you're going to be a backup quarterback. You're not going to be a starter in this league at all. So for sure, you're going to be a backup quarterback, which means you're going to be signing like 1 year, $3 million, $4 million contracts and whatever. So it's like, but you got to look at the realization, man. The Dolphins are in a position where they have to do something. They're going to finish third in the division. They're going to miss the playoffs. Now, this is the first time they're missing the playoffs in 3 years, but they're not known for making the playoffs to begin with. But they haven't won the division
Right.
title since 2008, and they haven't won a playoff game since 2000, which was when Jay Fiedler was their quarterback,
Jeez.
which was the year after Dan Marino retired. That's how long
Jeez.
it's been since they've won a playoff game.
That's insane.
Brother, we were in middle
That's
school.
nuts.
Well, I was in middle school. You were in elementary the last time that they won a
I don't
playoff
even think I
game.
was it. I don't even think I was in elementary yet, dog.
Jesus. That's crazy, bro. Like that's how far back it goes. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
We're about to get
Yeah,
we might actually get GTA 6 before Miami wins a playoff game. I'm just saying.
that's crazy. GTA 6 before the Dolphins win a game.
Which is
Shoot.
saying something
Before
because there's been a lot to happen before GTA 6 has come out.
Yep.
There's been a lot of stuff that's happened before GTA 6 comes out.
That's
And we might
that,
see the flip
that's
side of that. We might actually see GTA 6 get released before the Dolphins win a damn playoff game. But nonetheless, this was a two-part conversation, right? Because Miami obviously needs some work in the offseason, but then Tampa Bay has kind of been in a little kind of a funk lately because now they've lost four straight with this loss to Miami. And since their bye week, they're 1-7. And so now they face off against the Panthers in week 18 for the NFC South crown. So what do you think has been the issues with Tampa since the bye week? Like, what do you think's gone wrong?
I mean, I feel like I've said the same thing for the past three segments, but I mean, you definitely had Mike Evans hurt,
Yeah.
right, for the majority of the season. Bucky Irvin's been hurt too. Think what he missed 4 or 5 games. So there, but I was also looking at some stats and points on their opponents because I have here. I think the defense needs to step up because I have here that there's only 4 games where opponents didn't score 20 or more points so far this season, and they're still double digit points. It's not like
And that's
3 point. Well, I think there was 1.3 points. But
And that's considering that
go ahead.
Todd Bowles is a defensive minded coach and
Right.
is known for having
Which
some
which
pretty elite defenses.
right. Which is why I have here the defense needs to step up because I mean 4 games where you're a defensive team, right? And there's only 4 games where teams that don't score more than 20 points, the rest of them they score 20 or more. That's yeah, I think the defense for sure needs to step up because that's a no go. But I mean, like I said, you also have your injuries too with Mike Evans, Bucky Irving, and that's that's hard, man. Losing
Yeah.
your wide receiver one and back one, you know.
No, for sure. I mean that I get it. You know what I mean? Like that totally makes sense. And that's gonna be a good excuse to fall back on for, you know, for most people. Is just that fact
Yeah,
that they've been dealing with the fact that they've been dealing with so much injuries. But on the flip side to it, you kind of I'm going to agree with you on this is that their defense has definitely slipped out from underneath them for sure. Again, you have a head coach that is known for his defensive mind, who has been perceived as a top tier defensive minded coach, and for you to sit there and allow these teams to score 30 plus on you, 40 plus on you, night in and night out, at some point you have to call it out for what it is, because everyone wants to look at Baker Mayfield for the way that he's played, and I'm going to agree with it. That he has not played very well. I get that part. Okay, but at the same time, when you go up against the Bills, for example, and you put up 32 against the Bills and you still lose, that's a
yeah,
defensive issue, not an offensive issue. When you go
right.
up against the Patriots and you lose 23-28, your offense still put up 23 points and you allowed 28. Same thing with the look at the Rams. I mean, granted, again, they only scored 7 points with the Rams, but they gave up 34 points. And it's just consistently like every single game they're letting off 20 plus point games.
Yep.
And that's very hard for an offense to keep up with when you're having to score bare minimum 4 touchdowns a night just to stay in the game. That's not
With,
even guaranteeing
with
that's not even guaranteeing you a win. That's just to stay in the game.
and with your top receiver and top running back out.
Correct.
So I mean that's a double-edged sword there because you know your defense is not performing, then you're missing your weapons on offense. So it's like double whammy. Boom.
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's
again, I would agree with you on that. Now, on the flip side, to get into the whole Baker Mayfield situation, because like I said, he really hasn't played all his best games over this stretch of 4 games, 5 games, 6 games, whatever it is. He really hasn't played his best ball. I think that for him, he needs to make his decisions a little bit quicker. And I think what it is that he doesn't want to turn the ball over. I think that's his main issue right here is that he's trying not to turn the ball over. And so he's kind of
lost.
questioning
That's
himself. And
crazy.
that's why you see him kind of pump faking a lot of these like for example, when he gets sacked. If you look at a lot of his sacks, he's just holding on to the ball too long. And if he just makes
Yeah.
that decision just
Well,
a little bit quicker and just pulls the trigger and just says, fuck it, like whatever, I think that they would be in a much better position. But it still doesn't negate the fact that the defense has just been absolutely atrocious.
yeah. Well, and I mean, back to your point about Baker Mayfield not wanting to turn the ball over. I was actually just looking here. The first 8 games before the bye week, he's had two picks. Since the bye week, he's had 8, which is crazy. So I mean, like you said, he's
But also, too, some
I don't
of
know.
these
It's
interceptions haven't exactly been his fault. And so that's the other thing that you have to
right.
take into account, right? Not all interceptions are created equal. And so that's why I say he definitely can make some better decisions, like getting rid of the ball faster rather than putting himself in a position where he's being pressured so much. but that defense needs to step up the game. I mean, right now they're ranked 20th in total yards given up. So meaning that they're in the bottom half, they're in
Yep.
the bottom 3, bottom third of the league in terms of the amount of yards that are given up. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's for sure. The defense needs to step up more, but also Baker needs to elevate his play, but more so the defense to help out Baker too.
Well, now obviously, so right, they're going to go up against the Panthers, which there's a pretty weird little interesting kind of thing with the Panthers this season. Like there's something about I forget there's some sort of weird like it's called like a gentleman's tiebreaker or something like that. It's a really odd thing about what's going on with that particular division. Let me just pull up their records real fast because okay, so the Panthers are 8-8, the Bucks are 7-9, the Falcons are 6-9, and the Saints are 6-10. So literally from first to last is only a 2-game skid, but there's only one game left. And so if the Bucks win, they'll finish 8-9. The Panthers will finish 8-9. And then the Falcons, if they win tonight, if they win out, they could finish the season 8-9, even though they're eliminated from the playoffs already. But I think the way it works is like with the tiebreakers and the things of that nature. I want to say the Bucks are favored in this situation, even if the Panthers win.
Yeah, because what does it go by? Like, not strength of schedule, but like how much you've lost by or won by or whatever.
Well, I think it has something to do with the Falcons playing tonight. So I think if the Falcons win, then the Panthers could win this weekend and still miss the playoffs. I think. Or I don't. Again, I forget how it works. I forget what I read earlier this morning, but I was looking at it. And it was super confusing as to how they configured it all. And I was just like, what the hell? But who do you think wins the matchup anyway? Bucks and Panthers. Who you got? Because
Well, so I have the Bucks because they need to win more than the Panthers do, right? Because obviously the Panthers haven't been a team talked about. Like how we said, was it last season or 2 seasons ago? They couldn't even sell tickets. So I think the Bucks need to win more, but I'm also giving them the edge because they're also playing at home. So definitely having that home field advantage going to this last game to make the playoffs. That's I think the edge goes to the Bucks there because I think they're going to need it more, and then they're going to go and they're wanting it more than the Panthers. So um, they're going to find a way to pull it off and win to make the playoffs because I can't see them the way they started the season, and then coming here to this last game to not make the playoffs. I think they're going to find a way to win to make it.
yeah, so I think this is the story right here. So there's a scenario where the Panthers, the Bucks, and the Falcons could all end up with the same record. But the Panthers would actually hold the favorable head-to-head tiebreaker. So that's my fault. The Bucks would be eliminated. Because they would all there's again, if the Falcons win tonight, there's a chance in week 18 that all three teams could wind up with the same exact record. But ultimately the tiebreaker would go to the Panthers um from a head-to-head tiebreaker perspective. So, but
Dang.
obviously the simplest path for them is obviously just to win. Win
Right.
next week against win next week against the Bucks, win and you're in. But they still
So,
have that
so
they still
if
have
the
that chance where, they could still potentially lose the game and still get in.
still make the playoffs. So the Falcons have to win out, and so if the Panthers lose, they need the Falcons to win out to make the playoffs.
Right, and the Falcons are winning right now. They're up 27-24 against the
Yeah.
Rams with 4 with What is
Oh,
it? Oh, it's 10 seconds left in the fourth, brother. This game's fixing to
dang.
end.
Nakua just caught a ball, dog.
Yeah. So
Let's see,
this
did he
game's
catch
fixing
it?
to end, but who knows what happens. So we'll see once it gets updated. But it's like, there you go. Or what is it? No, it's not final yet. 3rd and 10.
Dang, Nakua caught that dog.
Did he?
They're for sure in field goal range with that catch.
Oh, snap. Question is, do you want to go for the tie? You want to go
Dude,
for the win, dog?
dirty. That's dirty one-handed catch.
Damn it, boy. But anyway, so yeah, so
Dirty.
that's the weird implication there is that if the Falcons win tonight, there's a chance where even in a loss, the Panthers could still win or still make it into the playoffs if the Falcons win out. Isn't that nuts?
But let's say so let's say the Falcons lose today or even the next game, then whoever wins between the Bucks and Panthers will go.
If the Falcons lose tonight, then it's a win or go home
Or
situation.
next week.
It's a win or go home situation next week for the Panthers and the Bucks. If the Falcons win tonight,
Win
if the
out.
Falcons win tonight, now that opens up the window where if the Falcons lose, I'm sorry, if the Falcons win next week, the and it all depends who plays first. Right? That's the other thing too.
Yeah.
Is how are they because remember they don't schedule the primetime shows or schedule the last week games. They don't schedule them until like after today. We'll know what they are next week as far as
Well,
the game times.
they already have the Steelers and Ravens for Sunday night.
Yeah, well that's a
I
lot
knew
for
that one
sure.
was coming.
But that's
I
because
knew
they
that
want
one
to
was coming.
put the NFL wants to put games that are on that have key implications because if
Right.
there if there's no implications, they're not going to want to air those out nationally because no one's going to watch them. But if the Falcons
Right.
win tonight, then obviously that's going to be a key matchup for next week, and it also is going to play a
They
big
have
role in whether or not the Bucks need to win out or the Panthers can kind of try their best but don't necessarily have to worry.
they have them on Saturday at 3:30.
Who?
The Panthers and Bucks.
Oh shit! Saturday, bro.
Saturday.
Damn it, boy. That's
They're like, let's
crazy.
get this over with. We want to see.
Straight up. But the NFL has pulled some plugs. They've switched games out like this before. So we just got to see what happens at the end of this matchup here. Because I have a feeling that if the Falcons win, watch them reschedule Saturday night's game to Sunday. And put whoever the Falcons are playing, they're gonna put them in on Saturday.
Out. You should put that game on Monday. The Panthers and the Bucks.
Yeah, well, there's only a couple of key matchups this weekend that have like playoff implications. But um speaking of those matchups, let's get into this, right? Because the 49ers, they hold off the Bears on the final play that took away the Bears' chance at the number 1 seed and actually gave San Francisco the chance to now get the number 1 seed. And so the 49ers are going to face off now against the Seahawks in week 18 at home to determine the number 1 seed, not only for their division, but also for the conference. So there's a lot of implications that are going to go on this weekend. This will only be the third matchup since 1990 where the 1 seed will be determined on the last game of the season for a conference. This is only the third time.
Dang. You said since
Yes.
you said since 90?
Since 1990.
Dang.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
basically what that's telling you is that 99% of the freaking time, we know who the 1 seeds are by week 17 or less.
Yeah.
So we rarely get this
That's
opportunity
insane.
to see basically the NFC championship or not an NFC championship, but like the NFC title on the line on the last game of the season. That's crazy.
That
Definitely gives you something to play
that
for,
should
and
be a
it
probably.
definitely that's a Monday night football game for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
If not
I was about
Sunday
to say
night,
that.
definitely
Yeah,
a
that's
Monday
definitely
night
a Monday
football
night.
game.
That yeah, that's Monday night for sure. That for
So
sure has to be a Monday night.
that'll definitely be a good game. But going into that game, okay, San Francisco versus Seattle. Who do you think needs that win more? Both teams are in. They're already clinched the playoff berth. So whether they win or lose out, you're literally just playing for the one seed. But who do you think needs the one seed more? Is it San Francisco or Seattle?
So the team that needs it more is the 49ers, so that way they could rest their players, right? And you have a notable injury that he missed this last game was George Kittle, right? So I think they need that first seed more to get those players rest. And, I even think Trent Williams was out too. So, to get those players rest up for the playoffs, they need it more than the Seahawks do because I don't think the Seahawks have injuries like that where your top dogs are down at the end of towards the end of the season. So um, to be healthy in the playoffs, they definitely need the 49ers need it more.
I uh I would agree with you in terms of that for sure. Um I kind of wonder with Sam Darnold, right? Like it's tough. Do you get because he got bounced out in the first round last year, right? And he had
Same
one
thing
of the
didn't
more
happen this year.
prolific offenses last season, and it gets bounced out in the first round. This year, it's a little bit trickier, right? So the loser, the loser of this game is going to go on to face the either the Bucks or the Panthers, whoever makes it on that side. So no matter if you're facing the Bucks or the Panthers, I would think that that's an easier game to win. And so I think that San Francisco should win it. I think it benefits them more than it does Seattle because if I'm Seattle, I'm going to look at it this way. Maybe it might be good for us to not get the one seed so that way we can go up against the Bucks or the Panthers, which should be an easier victory for us and that could help actually generate some confidence in Sam Darnold. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Like a confidence booster game in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, but
Yeah,
then also too, here's the flip side to it. They beat the Panthers in the regular season, but they lost to the Bucks. So it's a double-edged sword. You know, both teams
yeah,
could potentially benefit, but here's the flip side to it, right? If you get the number one seed, then you're going to play either the winner of the Bucks and the Panthers, um, or the Seahawks if they win, or you could potentially face the Rams or the Packers because the second round you play the lowest seeded team of the winners of the wild card games. So
yeah,
depending on who ends up winning those games, you're going to see the Rams, the Packers, Bucks, Panthers, or the Seahawks. Or well, if you're the Seahawks, you're going to see those four teams on your first game. So Rams and Packers. I mean, obviously those being some tough teams to play against.
yeah.
I think I would rather get my feet wet first and go up against the Bucks or the Panthers
Right. The jumping
develop
right in like
again
that.
to just to build that confidence level with Sam Darnold because he got the way he got kind of humiliated really last season in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't think Sam Darnold's that guy though. I think they're gonna get bounced because probably not the first round, but
I think
I
that
just don't think Sam
there's
Darnold's that guy.
and I can definitely see why people say that. I just don't think that he is we don't have enough tape on him in the playoffs. He's only been to one playoffs, really. I mean, yeah, he
Yeah.
went with the 49ers, but he was the backup quarterback. So he didn't
Right.
play. So I just don't think that we have enough tape on him in the playoffs to justify whether or not he can be that guy. Because if you think about it, last week when they played against the Rams, right? He played a
Yeah.
damn good game. He played a damn good game, and they end up coming out with the win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there you go. Atlanta beats the Rams. So that whole
Yep.
little tiebreaker where three teams can wind up with the same record, that's still in play. So that's just something to
Yeah.
look out for. That's something to look out for. Now the question is who do the Falcons play next week? They are playing against the Saints. Now the Saints are on like a 6-game win streak, I think. So they have a lot of momentum coming their way. But I don't know, man. They beat the Saints earlier in the season 24-10. So there's a chance that the
Yeah.
Falcons could win out. And if the Falcons win out, then it's not a necessary win against the Bucks.
Man, for the Panthers. Well, so if the Falcons went out, then the Panthers are automatically in.
Yeah, essentially.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they're going to schedule
That's
that game on
crazy.
a Saturday to get the game out of the way first.
Yeah.
Because then there is no playoff.
So that way
You're
people can
right.
watch the Falcon game.
There is no playoff implication if the Falcons win out.
Yeah.
But right now,
So have them play
there
first
still
so people
is.
watch it.
So people watch it.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, look at you, bro.
And watch the
Look at you.
other game
bro.
too. Yeah.
Damn. That'd be crazy, brother.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So as we look forward.
Because if the Panthers lose. Oh, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I was gonna move on, but if you got something to say real quick, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because they have them scheduled for Saturday, and if the Panthers lose, then people are gonna want to watch the Falcons and Saints game to see who wins that one. Because if the Falcons win, then the Panthers go. If the Saints win, the Bucks go.
Damn.
So they're gonna want to watch that game too.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
So it's a must win for the Bucks. So the Bucks is a must win.
Yeah.
And then the Panthers, if they lose, then they have to sit there and hope that Atlanta beats the Saints.
The Falcons win. Yep.
Crazy.
And the Bucks have to hope for the
Hey, what
Saints
do they
win
say?
if the Bucks
What do
win.
they say? Pure cinema. Pure cinema. You know what I'm saying, dude? God bless.
That's crazy, man. That's
But
insane.
yeah, so let's so
That's crazy.
overall outlook for this season, right? So playoff pictures as it stands right meow. Excuse me. So as it stands right meow, you got in the AFC side, you got Broncos, Patriots, Jags, Texans, Chargers, and the Bills, who are all locked in. The only teams left on that side are the Steelers and the Ravens, like we talked about. On the NFC side, Seahawks, Bears, Eagles, 49ers, Rams, and Packers are all locked in. And then obviously you got the Panthers and the Bucks. So those are the only 4 teams left that have a shot at making the playoffs. Steelers, Panthers, Ravens, Bucks. But just overall, man, like, because obviously the season's coming to an end. What was the biggest shocker you think this season? Out of everything.
I think the biggest shocker is the Chiefs missing the playoffs. I think No, I mean, with jokes aside, I mean, because I don't think anybody thought the Chiefs were going to miss the playoffs coming into the season.
I don't think so either, dog.
But but no, I mean, so on the AFC side, I don't think anybody would have said the top 3 would be in the top 3. The Broncos, Patriots, Jags. I don't think they would have assume those positions there, because
Yep.
that's wild, right? Like right now you have the Broncos in first, Patriots in second, and Jags in third. No one would have said they're top three teams coming into the season,
Now, the
right?
Broncos, I would have to somewhat disagree there because Bo Nix was showing a lot of upside last season. He was showing a lot of upside, but for a rookie quarterback to kind of take that leap of faith and or not that leap of faith, but just for them to take that kind of leap in development in his rookie season, it's kind of a tough ask. So I
Well,
definitely had the
I mean,
Broncos going to
I
the
think people
playoffs.
would have
I didn't think that they were going to be the number 1 seed though.
right,
Yeah.
right. Which I was gonna say. I mean, people would have said they'll make the playoffs, but not be number one.
Yeah.
I think the way they are, like right now, the top three where they sit, no one would have had that,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
No one would have had the Broncos first, Patriots in there, or even Jaguars in the top three, because you would have had your Ravens, Chiefs, and Bills. That's who would have think top three was, right?
Yeah, and that's probably
And
one of the biggest
you
shockers for
got
me is that you got literally the top 3 seeds from last season, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens, who were all basically well, you got one of them completely out of the playoffs. You have another one that's fighting for a playoff spot, and the other one is the 7th seed. That
right.
is beyond shocking to me right there.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is wild.
I would have to say that the second biggest shocker
Yeah, I mean,
is the Jaguars.
yeah, the Jaguars being up there at third. That's crazy. They're balling, man. They're balling,
Yep. The way
and
that they've been able to turn that
that's
organization around in just 1 year.
yeah,
I mean, you literally flipped it.
literally.
This was a
I
this
mean,
was a 4-win team last year. And now you've only
yeah,
lost 4 this season.
yeah. Which I mean, it's gonna be. I mean, coming to like the awards like Coach of the Year, because I know we talked about that. You had Liam Cohen, and I had Ben Johnson, but I mean, you you can't go wrong with both of those, or even Vrabel. I mean, I don't think anybody would be mad if one of those three won it. Because I think all three of them deserve it for sure, because they've flipped that organization around
Yeah.
within that one season.
Now, the flip side to it with Vrabel being in the conversation, because he's obviously in the conversation for Coach of the Year, is I just wonder if the voters are going to take into account the fact that they are literally a victim in a good way. They're a victim to something that they couldn't control, which was their strength of schedule. You know what I'm saying?
Their
And I
schedule,
wonder if they're yeah, and I
yeah,
wonder if they're going to take that into consideration and say, okay, you know what? Um,
they are.
really outside of the Bills, and then most recently, who did they play against? I can't remember off the top of my dome.
I I think
The
they beat in
Ravens.
the Bucks too, if I'm not mistaken. The Ravens.
Yeah, but I mean the Bucks they don't even have a winning record. And like I said, they're this season, their
True.
combined records from their opponents was .375, meaning they're not even 500 teams. They're losing teams. And so again, outside of the Bills
Yeah.
and the Ravens, you really didn't play any like extremely competitive contending teams. And I mean, just think about it for a second, right? You got the Raiders not in the playoffs, the Dolphins not
Yeah.
there. The Steelers are fighting for a spot, the Panthers fighting for a spot. The Bills are in, yes, but the Saints no, the Titans no, the Browns no, the Falcons no, the Jets no, the Bengals no, the Giants no. So they haven't played any playoff contending teams outside the Bills, and they went
Yeah.
500 on the season
Which
against the
which
Bills.
yeah. Which I mean, which is why I think I don't think Drake May's gonna win the MVP either. because of that too.
Who do you think's going to win MVP?
We said it last episode, dog. We were
Stafford?
we were on agreement there.
Stafford, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Stafford should win it
Yeah.
too, for sure. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
mean, because I think on the voting, I think they are going to take that to consideration for sure. Let's get their schedule.
hey, do you want to take a quick break real fast cuz you've been breaking up pretty good.
Okay,
I'll just put the
break chat break.
yeah, I'll put a quick break in here real quick, man.
Take a break inside your head to get a hold of yourself. But it's over now.
And we're back, brother. How are you?
Great. That was a great break.
That was a quick break. Nice break right there. But yeah, for sure. No. Stafford should definitely get the and I feel like I got something in my eye. Stafford should definitely get the MVP, and then like I said, I hope that the whoever votes for the coach of the year, I really hope that they take that into consideration because as much as and I'm not sitting here saying that Vrabel didn't do a great job with the Patriots turnaround because I think that he has done a fantastic job. And obviously the Patriots have definitely found their quarterback because just the way that Drake May's been playing this season, it has been pretty good.
Right.
So there's no mistake there. But you have to take into consideration the strength of your competition. And so I think that when you look at teams like the Broncos, who have faced some stiff competition, when you take a look at the Jaguars, when you take a look at the Bears, the 49ers, the Rams, the Seahawks, you look at the competition that those guys have faced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have to take that into account just of how good these teams are. I mean, just the NFC West alone, you could easily argue that they have three coach of the year candidates just in that one division.
Yeah.
And that's because they're all the Seahawks 13-3, the 49ers 12-4, the Rams 11-5. They were 11-4 going into the night. So they could easily be a 12-4 team right now if they would have beat the Falcons. And so how can you not sit there and knock them? Those are three of the most prolific offenses this season, and they're all in the playoffs. So yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm looking at like the schedule because I mean I think the two main ones is Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen to win the coach of the year. So I mean, so far I have the Jags who they went 1-1 against the Texans. They beat the 49ers, they beat the Chargers, and they beat the Broncos. So I mean, definitely some notable teams there. And then going to the Bears, I mean, so far it's not really. I mean, I probably honestly could probably go to the Jags.
Well, and again, too, you have to take a look at Mike McDonald from Seattle
Yeah, true.
because look at where they were at last season compared to this. I mean, last season they didn't even make the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. They had a losing record. And not to mention that they offload Geno Smith at the time. They offload Geno Smith and then they bring in Sam Darnold, which and they signed him to that 3-year deal. But even still, it's like, okay, the weapons that they have now were the same weapons they had last year. They didn't draft anybody crazy where it's like, oh my God. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So literally just all they did was a change in quarterback and look at where they're at.
true. Well,
So that has to
did
be,
they
and you're in arguably the toughest division, and you're the number one seed.
did they add to their defense?
Well, I'm sure they did. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that they didn't draft nobody. I mean, obviously they drafted some guys for sure. But again, you take into account that the fact that they're in the toughest division in the NFL right now. They have the number one seed as of right now. They're gonna go on to fight for the number one seat this weekend, right?
Yeah,
Against the 49ers. And last season, you were an afterthought. You weren't even being thought of as being one of the best teams in football.
yeah, that's true.
When the only splash that you made in the news or in the media was that you signed Sam Darnold to a 3-year deal.
That's true. Yeah. I mean,
So
man, it's definitely some stiff competition on that award.
the voters are going to have a tough time on that one, dude.
Yeah,
It's not as clear cut as it's been these last few years. These last few years, it's been pretty obvious on who should win it.
yeah,
But I think this year, man, there's so many different candidates that you can go off of.
yeah. That's. I mean, and whoever wins out of like the ones we're talking about, I mean, that's can't be mad at that, because they've all done
Yeah.
great.
Now here's a side quest question, something that we didn't have on the itinerary tonight, but I wanted to I told you earlier in the show that we would kind of talk about this as we near towards the end of the show. But let's talk about the Colts for a second. Okay. And I got a two-parter. Okay. Number one is I feel like Philip Rivers was a Hall of Fame quarterback, albeit he never won a Super Bowl. I feel like he was a Hall of Fame quarterback, um, regardless.
For
Now, I
sure.
don't think he would be a first ballot Hall of Famer just because again he doesn't have the Super Bowl on his record. But with the way that he came back for these last 3 games and the way that he carved out some of these defenses and the way that he's made some of these other quarterbacks who are half his age, literally half his age. Do you think that he's kind of made a better case for him to potentially be considered, cuz now he reset his timeline. So now he has to wait another 4 years to be available for the Hall of Fame. So do you think now with it being reset, do you think now he would be a first ballot?
In my opinion, I think he's first ballot. And he's eighth all time in passing yards. For never winning the Super Bowl. Um, and having what was it 10 kids, 9 kids, he definitely deserves to be on first ballot for sure,
That dude's dad of the century, bro.
for sure.
Dad of the century.
Yeah. No, I mean, so I have it pulled up here. He's eighth all time, behind Stafford and Matt Ryan. Uh, it doesn't have like touchdowns or completions like that. Time retirement,
You can look up top
78.
10 QBs of all time. And StatMuse probably has it. Now I can't seem to get it. Quarterback yards all time. Nope. That's not going to do it. What you got there, man? You got something on there?
No, the only thing I have is his eighth in yards. Touchdowns. And I mean, so I have here pulled it, and he ranked 6th all time in touchdown passes. I think
And what?
6th. 6th all time in let's see right here. ESPN. So the people above him: Tom Brady, first ballot; Drew Brees, first ballot; Peyton Manning, first ballot; Aaron Rodgers is going to be a first ballot; Brett Favre, first ballot. Then you have Philip Rivers. Then after that, you have Dan Marino, Ben Roethlisberger, Matthew Stafford, Matt Ryan. So he's within the top 10. So I mean, I think even before he came back, he's still first ballot. And that's on touchdowns, pass yards. Let's see. He's 8th. Only trailed by Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, Matthew Stafford, Philip Rivers, then Matt Ryan and Dan Marino. So I mean, he's definitely up there with those names, you know.
Yeah. And I don't know how people view it. I would definitely agree with you that he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but there's never really been like a whole lot of talk in terms of where he would rank in terms of like, okay, is he first ballot or is he not first ballot? Because I don't think there's ever been a question that he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. It's just a matter of whether or not he deserves to be first ballot. And
Yeah.
I feel like that after him coming back for just these 3 games, he has made a case in 3 games as to why he should be first ballot. Oh, I think I'm
Yeah.
breaking up.
You're fine over here.
Okay. I was breaking up on my side. But I think that he has, I think in these last 3 games, he's made a case as to why he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, like I said, that was a 2-parter. Okay. So the second part is what the hell happened to the freaking Colts?
Well, I mean, I think we said this towards the beginning of the season, right? The first half was the easy schedule, and then going into the second half, we're going to see the true test of if the Colts are for real or not. And we obviously know they're not. But I mean, of course, there's injuries to that too. But I think we saw that they're not that team how they were in the beginning with that schedule that they had.
Yeah. I saw somebody post a stat for the for Sauce Gardner.
So yeah,
And it was
I
like,
think I know which one.
how do you go? He has to be the only player in NFL history to start the season off
1-7.
1-7, get
Yeah,
traded to a team that was 8-1,
and then
and
go one and
finish.
seven.
And your record on that team was 1-7 since you
Yeah.
arrived. And it's like it said that you could take the player out of the Jets, but you can't take the jet out of the player. Oh my god, bro. I was laughing hard on that one, bro. That
Dude,
shit
that's
had me
funny,
cracking
dude.
up, bro. Dude,
That's
but man,
funny.
dude, poor Indianapolis, bro. Because they really went all in for this season and just fell flat on their face.
Yeah, which I mean, I think that answered our questions, right? Because like I said, we said the same thing at the beginning. We'll see how they fare towards the end of the season, and they they gave us our answer, you know. So
Yep,
that's
for
a
sure,
that's a
dude.
that's a tough one. Which I mean, that kind of alludes back to like the Patriots, right? If they had a harder schedule, does the same thing happen to them? You know.
Well, and we're gonna find out in the playoffs.
Hmm.
That's the thing that's for sure going to happen is we're going to find out in the playoffs just how dangerous how dangerous are the Patriots really?
Yeah.
Because that's the big question that everyone wants to know is like, are you for real or are you not for real? Because you really haven't played nobody. And the only stiff competition you have played were the Bills,
The
and
Bills.
you won one and lost one.
Well, and that's going to be interesting too, because if the seeds stay the way they are, they'll face the Bills in the first round.
And I'm sorry, but I'm gonna take experience over
Yeah.
inexperience any day of the week. And so I'm gonna take Josh Allen to figure it out because albeit he missed that wide open shot to Khalil Shakir last night for that 2 point conversion attempt. I mean, he missed him by like 4 yards, but when does that ever happen? He never
Right.
misses a wide open target like that. So I think that's a one off. I think it's a one off for the Bills. But I actually feel like it favors the Bills to be in the position that they're in right now. I feel like it favors them because they're not going to have home field advantage. Let's see. Let's go back and take a look at this real quick.
Well,
So the Bills,
they wouldn't have home field advantage at all if they make it
they
through
wouldn't
to the
have home
AFC.
field advantage at all. And so if you look at where they would have to play, so if
Foxborough.
they're going to have to play Foxborough, which is going to be not as cold as what it typically is in Buffalo. So that helps
Yeah.
them a little bit because they won't be in that
I mean,
because
it's about
that
the same.
obviously the weather really messed them up yesterday. It messed up both teams.
Yeah.
But again, maybe Foxborough is like the worst weather you're going to deal with.
Then
The
Denver.
Jags, if you play the Jags, which I doubt
Well,
it, you're gonna play
they
the
would play
Broncos
Denver.
most likely.
Yeah.
So you'll play in Mile High City. Yes, it's
Which that's
got some
kind of.
cold weather.
I mean, but that's hard to play too because of the elevation.
It is hard to play because of the elevation, but just in terms of just weather itself.
Yeah.
Like, dude, Buffalo gets some nasty freaking weather around playoff time.
Yeah, it does.
Nasty weather.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it last night, just how ugly it looked, dude.
It
30
was
something,
ugly.
30 degrees, probably like a 15-degree chill, and it's raining. It's not even
Yeah.
snowing. That's like the worst.
Yep.
Being wet and cold is probably the worst.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure every single player in that stadium or on that field would have rathered it been snow than water.
Dude, and then I saw a play where AJ Brown slid like nothing but water and that turf. So I can just imagine when they're running and stuff, like how hard it is to
Right?
navigate that.
That wind just hitting their body like oof. Dude, that's rough, brother. That's rough.
Yeah. Well, shoot. I mean, kind of looks like we're kind of making a playoff prediction here. So, I mean, it seems like we'll got the Bills over the Patriots and Foxborough, and you said you're gonna have the Bills over the Broncos.
Well, Bills are my Super Bowl pick, dog. So I got them going all the
True,
way.
true,
I
true.
got them going all the way. So they could I think that they could definitely beat the Patriots for sure. I think that they do give them some stiff competition just because it's a divisional rivalry game. And considering that they play each other twice a year, now it's going to be a third time that they have to play each other. Um, it's going to be a tough matchup, but I think that Josh Allen, like I said, I'm going to vote experience over inexperience any day of the week. So I think the
Yeah.
Bills will pull that matchup off. I can easily argue the same point against the Broncos. The Broncos don't have a whole lot of players that have key players that have been in situations like this. And so I could easily see the Bills marching into Denver and taking them down. Um,
The
but
defense has
they do
experience
have
though.
a I was about to say they do have a top ranked defense, and so that tends to be kind of Josh Allen's kryptonite there is like these really, really tough defenses. So, but again, I'm gonna go Bills pulling the edge over that. And then from there, you're either gonna face the Jags, the Texans, or the Chargers. The
Or I
Texans
mean,
play the Texans
or
play in a dome.
do you think the
Go
Ravens
ahead.
pull it off?
even if the Ravens pull it off, I don't see them going past the first round.
Because they would play they'll go to fourth, so they play the Texans. Yeah,
The fourth plays the fifth. So yeah, they would play
yeah,
the Texans. And so I think that the Texans will beat them. I think that defense is just absolute. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
They're insane.
But like I said, the Texans play in a dome and they're in Texas. So even if it was an open stadium, the weather's not going to be terrible. Then if you that or even if you had to play the Jaguars is in freaking Florida. Beautiful weather over there. Or if you
Well,
somehow some
yeah.
way have to go all the way to LA, we all know what that weather's like over there.
Well, I was gonna say the Texans would have to play in Baltimore or Pittsburgh.
The Texans wouldn't have to play in Baltimore.
Yeah, because the Steelers or Ravens would be fourth.
But there'll be divisional winners. So the division, if it's a divisional
Well,
winner versus a divisional winner,
the lower seed.
I think it I don't think it's the lower seed based on that because then
Well,
who decides on where the other three divisional winners go?
because they would both be. Well, no, the Texans wouldn't be divisional winners. The Jags are,
Oh, that's right. You know what? You're right. Yeah. So they would be in Baltimore. Yep.
or Pittsburgh.
And that can really mess them up because both of those stadiums are open.
Are open. Yeah,
Woo-wee. Hey man, but that defense has shown to travel though. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
They'll play anywhere.
True. That is true. Yeah, man. It's
Yeah.
it's it's an interesting. I mean, week coming up to see the final sitting, and coming up to see the playoff matches.
The playoff matches, bro. That's gonna be. Ooh. I told my wife, I was like, hey, I was like, you only got like 6 more weeks, and then you got me. You got me. All right, 6 more weeks,
Dude.
and then
Yeah,
you get
dude.
me for 6 months straight.
Well,
It's
dude,
not like
I
I'm
mean,
not with her every day already. So,
I mean, even at that, this coming summer, you got FIFA. I love watching FIFA.
oh yeah,
The World Cup.
you're into that, huh?
Only that though.
Ah, okay,
I
gotcha.
mean,
I
occasionally some European leagues, but for sure FIFA World Cup.
Interesting. I couldn't tell you a thing about soccer,
Neither could I though.
but I love messing with my kids, bro, because they're huge Ronaldo fans, and I'm like, nah, dude, Messi's the goat, bro. Messi's the goat. You know, and they're like, no, he's not, Dad. It's Ronaldo. I'm like, nah, bro, Messi's, and I think I've actually turned Caleb where like now he says Messi's the
Either
goat.
Messi. No, dude. I mean, but watching the World
But
Cup, like
bro,
you see some competition.
okay, you know what? You know what? That's funny that you brought up FIFA because I was talking to my boys about that the other day. Uh, did you see Ronaldo's contract that he signed
Bro, was it two
With that
years?
Saudi team? It's
It's
like
2 years,
two
right?
years with the potential
That's
earnings of $685 million
but
for
also comes
two
with like
years.
it comes with like a private jet and like on call private jet, chef team, like some absurd thing. Like they're giving him a house and cars and stuff. Like plus that money too. It's crazy.
Yeah, it says here that that the contract made him soccer's first billionaire.
Jeez,
And
dude,
all of his earnings are tax free.
tax free. That's what I saw too. Yeah,
Tax
but
freaking free. Yep. So he gets a 16 personal staff which is for like
yeah,
a
That's what I
chef
saw.
and maids and
Right.
all that crap, private jet access, and then he gets incentives for goals and league success.
Oh, I saw that assist. He gets like 50K for an assist and 110K for goals. It's like, dang, dude. On top of what you're getting is crazy.
That is insane, brother. Those soccer contracts, bro. And then how do you say old boy's name? Is it Al Nasir?
Oh, dang, dude. I just had freaking deja vu. That's crazy.
What?
Crazy. Like you said that exactly. How do you say old boy's name, dude? I swear oh, I saw that. I saw that, dude. That's
That's funny.
crazy, dude. That's
But how
crazy.
do you how do you say his name? Is
I
it
don't
Al
know.
Nasir? I think it's Al
The
Nasir. That's how I'm gonna say it.
Al
But what
Nazir.
that dude is doing, bro, like I'm pretty sure if I'm not mistaken, he got the WWE to sign their first ever
Oh, that's
WrestleMania
right. Yeah.
over there.
I think they're doing like a Royal Rumble first and then WrestleMania or something like that.
Yeah, well, I know for sure it's going to be WrestleMania. I haven't heard anything about the other marquee events that they do, but I want to say it's not next year. It's not this coming WrestleMania, but it's the following
2027, I think.
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I think it's WrestleMania 2027. That's going to be over there. And
Yeah.
then the UFC matchups that he's done, now the boxing matchups that he's done, and the way that he's paying like mega millions of dollars for these teams or just for these businesses to come over there, it's like holy crap, the money
Dude,
is
just imagine the
unlimited over
money.
there, son. The
Dude, I was about
money
to
is
say that
unlimited
money.
over there, bro.
I had someone say, I have a hard time believing Elon Musk is world's richest man when you got people doing that over there.
You ain't lying.
Dude, because that's insane to be able to do that, a contract like that.
Yeah, but
Insane.
anyways, man, well, that's about it for the show, dude. You got anything else that you need to cover?
No, that's it. Thank you, chat, for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so that way you know when we go live. We typically go live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but the holidays are around, so we gotta tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, for
But
sure. I mean, I don't see us getting on Wednesday and Friday this week either. So
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so just turn on that bell notification, chat, so that way you know when we come on. You could get on, interact, and hop on with us, Stooges, and tune in.
yeah, us idiots. Because here's some guys that don't know ball. All
No
right,
ball. Don't know ball.
we don't know ball, dude. Did you see Chris Collinsworth glaze Mahomes again
Yeah.
last night, bro? Oh my god, this guy, dude. This fucking guy really
Oh,
had the audacity to bust out Mahomes. He's not even in the freaking playoffs. And he still had to glaze
yeah.
him.
Yeah.
I'll
Did y'all
give
see
him
the TikTok
credit
that it
because
said?
I'll give him credit because at least he had the nerve to say, "Well, I would definitely say that. I don't know about everybody else." Like, I'll give him
Yeah.
credit on that part because yes, brother,
We
you
know
were
you
the
would say
only
it.
ones. You were the
Yeah.
only one in this world that was thinking of Patrick Mahomes in that particular moment. You were the only guy in this planet Earth that was thinking that. Maybe Mike
Oh
Tirico was
man.
sitting there thinking like, "Oh my god, this guy's going to say he looks like Patrick Mahomes." And
Yeah.
then says it.
Dude, like that's all he ever thinks about. Dude probably has him on his wall, probably has him above his bed. Cause man.
Wow,
Can't
dude, the
stop talking about him,
glaze,
dude.
bro.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. But anyways, man. So
Yeah.
we're signing off. Chat, appreciate you. Everyone who tuned in live, we appreciate you guys. And we'll see you guys next week for week 18 overreactions.
Um,
Peace.
win or go homes, chat.
Win or go homes. Yes. All right, dude. Catch you later, man.
Better
Take it
chat.
easy. Hey, happy New Year. Yes. Happy New Year, Jackie. We appreciate you.
Yes, and happy New Year. Yeah.
We appreciate you being live and being a friend of the program. Not like
Don't
she
be
has a
gifting no
choice.
roses.